Hey guys, welcome to my run on Weapon Trial 1 level 70 in Sword of Convalaria Global. Now first thing first, big disclaimer, this isn't really an original strategy. There is a Chinese player who did the same thing and I took a lot of inspiration from him, and I think credit to where credit's due. Unfortunately, I can't really pronounce his name, it's in Chinese letters, but I will put a link in the video description to his video, so do check it out. And this is a very easy and very cheesy way to win Weapon Trial 1. So first things first, the setup, which is quite key. The whole strategy here surrounds Nungal, and Nungal is the only one that will be attacking the boss. But don't worry, you will be able to do enough damage to kill off the boss roughly between rounds 8 to 12, depending on how well built you are. So there is really room to spare. The tactics, you really only need one tactic, and that is the Flag of Convalaria. You don't need the other two tactics, so feel free to put anything else for the other two. You won't be using it. What's important though here is the round restore and turn restore for TP. You want to have enough so that you can recast the Flag of Convalaria once it's gone, so that you can have near permanent uptime on its buff. So like I said, the whole strategy revolves around Nungal, and her setup is obviously very critical. So first things first, for weapon you want the Whale Hunter, and that's because the Whale Hunter gives you a bonus 20% more damage if you are attacking enemies with infection, and the weapon itself applies the infection debuff. So roughly, in essence, this weapon gives you a bonus 20% to her damage. The rest of her skills is also quite important. You're going for a basic attack build, so you want to have the fatal attack, reaction doesn't matter, you aren't gonna get hit. You need to have sniping stance and eagle eye. The whole point of these two in combination is that you can place Nungal out of the boss's range and just have her snipe the boss from afar. Lastly is the shattering arrow, and this just gives her bonus damage for her. Accessory and turret is there to boost her damage, so I'm using True Lens and the Verdict of Justice turret. Now beyond Nungal, the other 4 party members are pure healer and supports, just for Nungal to push out insanely high basic attack damage. And I'll quickly go through. So first off, we have Cocoa. Cocoa supports Nungal through obviously the Iron Pots 2, giving her crit 2 and crit damage 1 buff, but also you can buff with Snow Lotus. Snow Lotus gives Nungal additional damage 3 and damage reduction buff. Obviously the one you are looking for is the damage 3 buff. That's really it for Cocoa. Nothing else matters for her. The next person is Cole. Now Cole seems like a very odd choice, and that's because I really don't have anyone to use. But the way Cole supports is just from the leader aura. So both Nungal and Cole are Alacrity faction. So just by having Cole standing there, Nungal gets all these juicy auras, bonus attack, defense, crit and crit damage, which is pretty nice. For Inanna I did make a mistake in setup. Ideally what you want is to actually use her ultimate, Flight of the Princess, over the group heal. That's right, you actually don't need to use any healing ability with Inanna. Just her passive healing combined with Cocoa's healing is way more than enough for you to survive the stage. And that's because you won't really be eating any boss attacks. I forgot to change this, so I would recommend this. This main reason you want to have this is that you can then use Inanna to spam Princess Prayer and Soulmate rather than use her group heal, because anytime she's using her group heal, she's not buffing Nungal. So just put her ultimate on and just rely on her passive healing so that you can spam her Soulmate and Princess Prayer every alternate rounds. Now Princess Prayer obviously lets Nungal attack twice in one turn, but it also gives Nungal attack 2 if you need the buff. Soulmate gives Nungal the co-attack buff, so this gives her additional 15%, and it's a given because everyone will be clumped up together, so you don't have to worry about positioning. Plus it also gives nearby allies 40% extra defense, and this is useful because you will be eating the 3x3 AoE attack that the boss does. That's the only attack you will eat, And having core defense guarantees survival more or less, because you should be tanky enough, and the AoE attack should only deal about 50% of your health in damage. Next up is Gloria. Now Gloria is there just for pure support as usual. She has the aura from her flag, which gives a bonus 12% attack and defense. Now early on in the game, I did throw her spear down to get the flag, but you don't actually need to. You just need to have Gloria standing there, and she gives the flag aura in a 3x3 square, which is more than enough because again everyone is clumped up together. Gloria is also there, of course, to give Longinus Brilliance when you need to, and I did give her Knight's Glory just so that she can buff herself with the shield if she needs to eat the AoE attack. Alternatively, you can also set the Vow of Justice to give her additional defense, but the only thing is that this leader's aura only affects her in the battle, so doesn't really provide a lot of value. I thought I can give Knight's Glory, and this is another way to buff Nungal also with attack 2 if you need to. So in other words, we will be buffing the shit out of Nungal with all 4 party members, and Nungal will be doing a heck ton of damage through her basic attack. But enough here, I'll showcase it in the battle, so let's jump ahead. Now in terms of starting positioning, only Nungal's one is pretty important. You want Nungal right in the middle, and she will just be sitting there the entire match. Everyone else moves behind Nungal. So right off the bat, I'm quickly buffing Nungal as much as I can. So we have Longinus Brilliance, we have the Stew from Cocoa, we have Princess Prayer from Inanna, and then I'll be using Snow Lotus next on Nungal as well, and I immediately place the Flag of Convalaria. Essentially, Nungal has virtually almost every buff known to man. Now how does this strategy work? Staying behind Nungal ensures that, for one thing, one of the boss attacks cannot land, and that's the one that attacks the closest unit. For some reason, I think that attack actually has a max range, and having everyone sit here means you are out of range. So you never have to worry about the basic attack, which also means that you don't have to worry about getting marked by the boss. The level 70 trial has an additional mechanic where after using the basic attack, the boss will mark the unit, and all 1 tile away ally units from that unit will get bombed after the boss takes an action, which makes it very tricky to position yourself. You have to ensure that you isolate that unit away from everyone. However, if you do this and you stand everyone far away, you never have to worry about that attack from the boss. Likewise, as you can see, the other attack from the boss is that he does a 3x6 AoE frontal attack. However, I'm sitting out of range from that as well, so that is also an attack that you never have to worry about. There is only 2 things that you need to worry about. The first is very minor, that's the stigmata tiles on the floor. You can try to mitigate damage by moving out of it obviously, but they don't really do a lot of damage. In fact, Nungal just sits on top of it the entire match, and you can just out heal. The one thing I forgot to mention is Nungal also has the life leech resonance, so that helps to offset the dot damage from stigmata just by having her life leech back all the health once she attacks the boss. The other attack that you need to worry about is the boss marking the lowest health unit in battle, and you'll be suffering a 3x3 AoE damage around that unit. That's very easy to handle. All you need to do is have 2 more allies sit in the same square as the marked unit. That AoE attack does damage, but for every ally above the first, it does 25% less damage, but it caps out at 50%. So in other words, anytime you see the red 3x3 square around a unit, just have 3 people in that square, the marked unit plus 2 allies. It is very easy to survive because you do have Inanna's co-defense for one thing, which gives you 40% extra defense, and you can easily AoE heal back up with Cocoa. Now my run is actually a little bit sloppy. The one mistake I did was forgetting to equip Inanna's ultimate, so I did waste a couple of turns using Inanna's group heal, where I could have used her co-attack and Princess Prayer instead. So that's a lot of wasted damage right there, and because of that I ended at round 11. If I'm not mistaken, the Chinese player ended at round 8 or 9. So if you can spam Princess Prayer as much as possible, and you can actually spam it one turn earlier, not forgetting the Flag of Convalera actually reduces the cooldown by 1 turn. So every 2 turns or so, you can just use Princess Prayer and have Nungal do double damage. So if you do spam Princess Prayer and her co-attack, co-defense, you should be able to get the run done in under 10 rounds. But in any case, there's a lot of leeway, so you don't have to rush through it. This is a very safe strat. 2 of the boss's attacks are neutralized just by standing out of range. So you can just take your time and whittle down the boss with Nungal. So here you do see the guard of the princess getting marked, and you see the red square around that unit. So I think this is a good example. Just have 2 units stand in the same square and then top off everyone if you need to, but the attack should be very easily tankable. So let's see how much damage the boss does. Even the guard of the princess is nowhere near to dying, and after this you can just heal everyone up because the next 2 attacks from the boss is guaranteed to miss. Hope this video has been helpful, and thanks for watching.
何か私にお手伝いできることは？